How's it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great week. So it is that time of the month again, guys. It is time to talk about the top 5 games coming out in April 2019. So I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to obviously talk about the top 5 games, but then at the end of the video, I'm going to have a couple of honourable mentions just to talk about some other games coming out as well. But let's kick off. As usual, this is going to be in release order. So kicking us off to start with is World War Z, or World War Z, if you live in the UK. This is coming out on the 16th of April. It is by Saber Interactive, and it is an action third-person shooter zombie survival game that's going to be coming out on the PC, PS4 and Xbox One. The game is basically an adaptation of the movie starring Brad Pitt, which is also based off of the books. Hopefully the game is going to be a lot better than the movie. It is a 4-player cooperative experience. It reminds me heavily of Left 4 Dead, and I love the idea of that. So it's basically a survival game where you have to survive hordes of undead. You can play up to 4-player co-op. You can choose from 6 possible classes, and the gameplay just looks fun. It looks fast-paced, lots of different kinds of weapons that you can use, from rocket launchers to mounted turrets, sniper rifles, machine guns, and so on. It looks really cool. Of course, there'll probably be some melee combat as well. Now, there is going to be a story mode, which is going to be playable. You can play this game both single player and in 4-player. But the story mode itself, you're going to be playing different hardened survivors around the world. So you're going to be going to different locations around the world, including Moscow, New York, and Jerusalem. But it looks like a really fun game. It looks kind of like it's not taking itself too seriously. It should be really fun. These hordes, obviously, there are going to be lots of horde mechanics and hopefully different kinds of zombies that we're going to have to face. But it's going to put you in different scenarios, and you're basically going to have to survive those scenarios. Everything about this game reminds me of the Left 4 Dead, and that has me very excited. So yeah, that is coming out on the 16th of April. The next game coming out is Mortal Kombat 11. This is set for release on April the 23rd. Of course, it's an action fighting game by NetherRealm Studios. It's been 4 years since the last Mortal Kombat game, and Mortal Kombat 11 looks to be just as fun as Mortal Kombat X. It's going to be coming out on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and for the very first time on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, it's using the Unreal Engine, and it looks visually stunning. This is a 2.5D action fighter game. There are going to be 25 playable characters at launch confirmed, including some fan favorites like Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, and Sonya Blade, to name but a few. The trailers have obviously been revealing more and more fighters along the way, and it just looks really awesome. Customization is back, but the game is offering some new features. So there is going to be Fatal Blow and Crushing Blow that you can use when fighting. Fatal Blow can only be used once per game, and your foe's health bar has to be below 30% for you to be able to deal this damage. Crushing Blow can actually be used repeatedly, and it's more connected to character combos and sort of special moves. There are going to be blocks encounters as well, and this is for more sort of seasoned pro players, and those that are very good at timing their blocks just right should be able to pull off some pretty powerful epic counterattacks. There are going to be, of course, microtransactions in the game, but we have been promised they will not be pay to win, so that hopefully will be the case when the game is released. But Mortal Kombat 11 looks really fun. It looks brutal, the animations look incredible, and it looks really good. So if you're a fan of fighting games, then I'd definitely say pick up Mortal Kombat 11. It probably is a must buy this year for you. The third game coming out on April 26th is Days Days Gone. This is by Cybend Studios. It's an action-adventure survival horror game that's going to be available exclusively on the PlayStation 4. It's probably one of my most anticipated games this year coming out. I'm very much looking forward to it. Whereas World War Z is more light-hearted and is more focusing on that multiplayer element, Days Gone, of course, is a zombie survival horror game, but it is much more focused on a story, on a single player experience. The game is going to offer 30 hours of playtime and 6 hours of cutscenes have been confirmed. It's an open world adventure set in a post-apocalyptic world, and players play as a main character called Deacon St. John, who is a former outlaw turned bounty hunter. The element on this game is, of course, on the story and on the open world exploration. I love the fact that you have a motorbike which you use to traverse the world, but this motorbike has a character in itself, so you can actually customize and upgrade the bike as you progress through the story. So that looks really cool. These zombies in this game are not called zombies, they are freakers, so they're a little bit different to the zombies that we know and are used to. These zombies actually sleep, eat, drink, and actually migrate when the weather changes. So we've been told that when the weather is cold and very bad, that you'll see less of them in the open world, and obviously in different environments. There are different zombie types or different freaker types. So we have the typical swarmers, of course, that's in the name. So these are huge hordes of zombies, and it looks like the game is trying to sort of overwhelm you with sheer numbers and volume, and that feeling like you're always being kind of hounded and attacked, and feeling that pressure. So I'm looking forward to that. We also have newts, which are sort of infant-like zombies or infant-like swarmers. These are more opportunists, and they will kind of, if you go into their area, they will attack you if you're in a weakened state or potentially vulnerable. We then have screamers. These remind me heavily of the witches in Left 4 Dead, so they will scream and alert other hordes, other swarmers to your area. And then we have breakers. They're more like the tanks in Left 4 Dead as well. But Days Gone looks really, really fun. It's a definite must buy for me, and I absolutely will be getting that game in April, and of course we'll be doing a full review of the game as well. The fourth game coming out in April, there's no confirmed set release date for it, but it has been confirmed it's coming out in April, and that is Super Meat Boy Forever by Team Meat. This is an action platformer indie title. It's going to be available on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Switch, and it is the sequel to the Tough as Nails Super Meat Boy, which was one of the best indie titles that came out for me. I know Dante has played it, really, really enjoyed it, and I am very much looking forward to seeing what the sequel has to offer. So it has been confirmed it's going to offer 2 playable characters. You're going to be able to play as Super Meat Boy and Bandage Girl. I don't know whether there's going to be 2-player co-op. That would be kind of cool if that was the case, but you can play as both those characters, and the main goal is you're trying to rescue your precious little baby, little Nugget. They get stolen at the beginning of the game, and for the rest of the game you're trying to rescue Nugget. There have been a few changes to the gameplay though, so an auto runner mechanic has been introduced, changing the gameplay quite heavily. So Super Meat Boy will always run, and you can obviously run, slide, tackle, jump, and so for seasoned Super Meat Boy gamers, whether or not they're going to like this auto run mechanic, we'll have to wait and see, but it is going to offer lots of content. We're told there are over 7,000 randomly generated levels, and these are based on players' skill level, which is quite interesting. But Super Meat Boy was a really fun indie game, really, really good, really hard as nails, challenging platform. It had an awesome soundtrack, really good gameplay and level design. So Super Meat Boy Forever as the sequel promises to be just as much fun. The 5th game coming out in some time in April 2019 without a set release yet is Dauntless. This is by Phoenix Labs. It is a free-to-play third-person multiplayer action game set in the style of Monster Hunter. So you can play, I think, up to 4 players online cooperative. You basically play as a slayer, and your main goal is to take down these huge monsters in the world called behemoths. It has RPG elements to it, wherein every time you take down a behemoth, you can sort of craft and carve from its dead corpse, and use this to craft weapon upgrades and different, I guess, armor sets. I'm not sure, but it looks really, really good. And I loved Monster Hunter World, and I love the fact that this is free to play, and I'm really, really interested. The world, it looks gorgeous. I love the art style. I love how colorful it is. I love the designs for the different behemoths. They're really, really interesting, and I'm definitely going to be picking up this game, especially because it's free to play. It has actually had an open world beta exclusively on the PC, which started back on the 24th of May 2018, and I've heard really good things about the game, so I'm definitely going to be picking it up and checking it out. So those are the top 5 games coming out in April. Now, there are a couple of honorable mentions that I wanted to mention to you guys. Firstly, we have a Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. This is coming out on the 2nd of April and will be available on the PS4, Xbox One, PC and Switch. So if you're looking for a little bit more sort of kid-friendly fighter, as opposed to, say, Mortal Kombat 11, then maybe Power Rangers Battle for the Grid might be one for you. It's a 2D action fighter game, and it looks really fun. It's got, obviously, you know, it's covering 25 years of Power Ranger history. There are some iconic Power Rangers there. My favorite Power Ranger, of course, being the Green Ranger, and it looks like, you know, it's 1v1. I think it can do 2v2 as well, online gameplay, and it just looks really, really fun. It looks fun. It looks in the vein of kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom, which I really enjoyed those fighting games, and I love the style of it, and it looks interesting. This is developed by Enway, but yeah, it looks like an interesting fighting game. And then finally we have Fade to Silence, which is coming out on the 30th of April, and it will be available on the PS4, PC and Xbox One. This game looks really interesting for me. It's a survival RPG set in a snowy, cold, post-apocalyptic winter. It's by developer Black Forest Games, and it's more sort of like a story-based survival game where not only is, you know, the terrible cold of the winter your enemy, and you have to survive and craft through that, but there are also monsters that you do fight in the world as well. You play as a main character who's called Ash, I think, but it looks really, really interesting, and that's why I thought it was worth a mention in my top 5 games this month. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 games coming out in April 2019, as well as a couple of honorable mentions. Let me know what you guys think of these games in the comment section below. What games are you looking forward to this month? What games are you definitely going to be picking up? Is there anything that I haven't mentioned here that you would put in the list? Please share those games in the comment section below as well. Anyway, hope you guys found this video interesting, useful and informative. If you did, please hit the like button as always to show your support. Anyway, take care guys and girls, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.